Good afternoon to my Jedi and Sith friends. It's Sheiv the Wise. Shout out to Tim for this wonderful beat that is on loop right now. It is fire. We have a whole lot to talk about today. There's a lot of Star Wars news that we have slightly missed since the weekend started. It has been a long weekend for me and an enjoyable one, so I am happy to be back streaming though. It is a pleasure. What's going on, guys? We're gonna get right into it tonight. It is pretty fun being a Star Wars fan right now. There's a lot going on, and frankly, all this news coming out is getting me a little hyped, especially with the Bad Batch's last episode. Go check out my review video or live stream that I did. And if you're not a member of the Den of Nerds, go check out the Den of Nerds. I just did their watch party last week for the Nerdvengers, and this next week I'm doing another one. It's gonna be a lit time, so come on by to the Den of Nerds, be a Nerdvenger, and hang out with me in the watch party this Friday. So as far as news goes, there is a lot that we saw recently on the Kenobi show, and I've been hyped for that show for a long time. I don't know about you guys, but I cannot wait for this show. There's been a lot of leaked photos of Ewan McGregor walking onto set in a trash bag, so it's pretty cool to see Obi-Wan walking around in a trash bag, to be honest. Everybody's getting hyped over that. And outside of him, we actually saw Aunt Beru as well. And if you see Aunt Beru and it's 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, that means that Luke is probably 10 years old too. Do you guys think Luke's gonna be in the Obi-Wan show? Because I already thought he might be, but now I'm like definitely getting a little suspicious that Aunt Beru and Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan are going to be in the same scene most likely. Now, with the volume, it's possible that they just shot two different scenes that same day, but I definitely think it's more likely that Obi-Wan is talking to Aunt Beru, and then probably a couple of scenes in this show. What are you guys thinking about that? Yeah, Kenobi is gonna be fire, Matt's Lego film. I think so too. Yes, B Grissom, please, if you have not already, go ahead and smash that like button. It helps a lot, and it keeps the Lair going strong. It keeps the fire in the castle burning. So go ahead and smash that like button. Now, with this supposed theory and with what's going on with the Kenobi show, I think it's super possible that we see Luke, and there's actually been rumors on Reddit. And shout out to Star Wars Santa, because actually I found out from him that this is potentially the case. The Sweet Tooth actor, I don't know if you guys have heard about this show, but there's this kind of new, somewhat popular show on Netflix called Sweet Tooth, and basically it's just a post-apocalyptic kind of world that's has this huge pandemic, of course, right? And in this pandemic, most of the humans are either dead or had children that became hybrids, and they're half human, half animal. It's a really interesting show. But the main character is this kid that is also a deer. And this deer kid is rumored to potentially be a young Luke. There were Reddit rumors that he was seen on set, and I haven't even read too deep into this. It might not even be true, but we already know there were rumors at once upon a time of another Netflix actress being a young Leia, and that would be Millie Bobby Brown. So it wouldn't be unheard of to take a popular young Netflix actor and make them the popular Star Wars actor, even if it never really happened with Millie. But I think it's very possible. This Sweet Tooth kid is not too bad of an actor. It's been pretty entertaining. I've watched the first couple of episodes. Honestly, it's a pretty cool show, and I would definitely get behind seeing this kid play a young Luke. Let me know what you guys think about that, because it's only a rumor, but it would be pretty fun to me. It would be pretty interesting. She's looking crazy crispy today. Yes, I got a new green screen. My whole setup is finally pretty much done. I just gotta get the Ethernet running to my computer, and everything's gonna be even crispier. I'd be looking for now. What's up, normies to nerds? It's good to see you, Kendall. I cannot wait to get another stream with you. If you guys haven't checked out Kendall's channel, Normies to Nerd, go over there and check him out. He does some pretty great Marvel stuff, and he does a great job of getting them normies to become nerds and checking out some Star Wars, even if he is somewhat of a Star Wars swarmy / normie himself. Mass Lego Film thinks it would be cool to have the young Luke in there. I think so too. I forget this. Hold on, let me check the kid's name. I think I might have said it already, but Christian Convery. If you guys haven't heard of Christian Convery, he does a pretty good job of playing the Sweet Tooth character. That kid is, if he gets the Luke role, he'll definitely have a big future. Man, I'm looking crispy. I'm probably sweaty as heck. It's so hot in Cali right now. Along with this Kenobi news, there's actually news of another Star Wars character that has very strong ties to Kenobi, and maybe could even be in the Kenobi show along with him, and that is the Ahsoka Show. That's right, Dave Filoni's pride and joy, Ahsoka. There's a big rumor for what's going on in her show, and I think it might actually be confirmed by the trades out there, who I don't really know exactly, but the rumor is that Barriss Offee is going to be in the Ahsoka Tano show. I am excited by this. I think it's so cool that they could potentially be doing this. Now, it's possible that Barriss Offee could be in the show as a Night Sister, and frankly, I think that would be awesome. We know that Ahsoka had to bleed the crystals of her, or unbleed the crystals of a Sith Kyber crystal, and frankly, I think it would be pretty darn sick if she took Barriss Offee's. Now, who knows if this show is going to be somewhat of a prequel to what we've seen in The Mandalorian, somewhat of a post, like right after, where she's looking for Thrawn. And it's also really interesting that Barriss Offee and potentially Thrawn could be in this. Like, that's pretty interesting. And if this is after all 6 of the original trilogy movies, that means Barriss has survived this entire time and maybe has some Sith ties to her through being an Inquisitor / Night, or did I say Night Sisters? I don't think that's what I meant. Alright, whatever. She potentially could be an Inquisitor, and that'd be sick. She is one of the first Jedi to betray the Order outside of Dooku and Asajj Ventress, who were Master and Apprentice. So it is pretty interesting that this character that betrayed the Order before many of the other Inquisitors is now coming back to the Ahsoka show. And it makes perfect sense too, because her and Ahsoka had major ties back in the Clone Wars. Together they went on multiple missions and grew somewhat of a bond before Barriss went on to betray the Order and blow up the temple. So and she actually blamed it on Ahsoka, and that's why Ahsoka got kicked out of the Order. So there's definitely some beef and some bad blood there. So I think it could be really fun to see Barriss Offee in the Ahsoka Tano show. How about you guys? Put a 1 if you want to see that. Leader of the Inquisitors, that's definitely possible, B. Grissom, but we do know there is a Grand Inquisitor that is not Barriss, and maybe after the Grand Inquisitor died, they made Barriss the new Grand Inquisitor, but that would be really interesting. But Inquisitor Barriss would be cool too. Yeah, man, I think so too. What's up, Average? It's good to see you. How's it going, Proxy? You my guy. What's up, Darth Ryan? Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Just saying hello to everybody. Hey, that's right. We got a couple ones. Looks like everybody kind of wants to see Barriss in it anyway. And frankly, with the news that comes out, I'm pretty sure she's going to be in it. I think it's pretty all but confirmed. So I'm hyped for that. I'm happy you guys are pretty hyped for it as well. I cannot wait for the Ahsoka show. I definitely think... I heard some people on one of my last live streams say that the Ahsoka show and the Rebel sequel might be different shows, and I'm all for that. Like I said in that stream, if we get more Ahsoka, more Rebels, the better for me. Those are two of my favorite things in Star Wars, so the more the better if it's two separate things. If it's the same, we'll see a Thrawn crossover, Ezra and what's left of the Ghost crew will possibly be in this, and I think we're gonna get the World Between Worlds, and I cannot wait for a stream with Star Wars nerds Star Wars news where the two of us are gonna be talking about the World Between Worlds and possibly Malachor and some of the other Sith and Jedi temples. I think it could be a really fun stream. I hope you guys come by for that one as well. Now, we also have a couple other news in the Star Wars show space, and one thing I want to talk about with you guys is what I heard recently from Temuera Morrison. And to me, it almost confirms my thoughts on this show. So in a recent interview, Temuera Morrison said about the Book of Boba Fett, we're going to see his past and where he's been since the Empire Strikes Back. He's been kind of stuck in this one place, and now's the time to actually go back in time and check out his journey and find out more about him. Now, with the recent Star Wars comics that have been coming out on the War of the Bounty Hunters, I think we could potentially see some of that. We could see what Boba has gone to leading him into the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, how he was stuck on Tatooine. I think that's the place where Temuera says he's been stuck in this one place. I think he's been stuck on Tatooine, and he kind of has just made a life there in survival mode, and that's how he's been alive this long and why he hasn't really done much. As a bounty hunter, he has a certain set of rules and a code that he lives by that his father taught him. So it's very possible he knew about where his armor was and he just wasn't ready to get back into that life. I'm really curious what made him come back and get the armor from Din. I'm curious. Maybe it was him meeting Fennec Shand and just helping her get back on her feet, and it helps him get back on his feet. But it really intrigues me, and the fact that he says that we're going to go back in time and see his journey and find out more about him, I am hyped about that. I am so excited to see some of Boba in his prime, and that's the perfect time to see him, right around that Empire Strikes Back area. We get to figure out kind of what led to him falling into the Sarlacc, what was going on behind the scenes, and it's actually shown in the War of the Bounty Hunters that Boba had a hit on him from Jabba and Bib Fortuna, and this hit basically was because Boba didn't bring them Han Solo in a timely manner, according to Jabba. So Bib Fortuna put a hit on him, and I definitely think that's probably why Bib Fortuna got killed by Boba at the end of the second season of The Mandalorian. Frankly, I'm just excited to see more of Boba in his prime, more of Boba in general. I think the Book of Boba is going to be a fantastic show, and I cannot wait for this December for when it comes out. I'm definitely going to be covering a lot more of the Book of Boba on this channel going forward. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before I get into some Q&A is who Rex was talking to at the end of the 7th episode of The Bad Batch. Right before he goes to talk to Hunter at the end of the show, there's a little scene where he's talking to someone on his comms, and of course, in Bad Batch fashion, they don't tell us who it is. We've already seen Fennec Shand talking to someone on her comms. We never got an answer. We saw the Martez sisters talking to someone in a hologram. It turned out to be Rex, so we got that one right away. I guess they're rolling 50-50. But now we have a third mystery character. And of course, no answer as to who it was. But I think it could be one of 3 people, maybe 4. My first guess, of course, because it was my first guess last time, Ahsoka. Now, we already know that Ahsoka and Rex were last together at the end of Clone Wars. And while Ahsoka probably wouldn't be in this, like a big part of this time, because she went off on her own for about a year until we see her again in the novel, it's possible that novel is not even canon anymore. They've already changed multiple aspects of it, and we already seen Dave not give 2 F's and change everything on paper for the sake of bettering his own story. Now, I personally don't really care. Give me more Ahsoka. I'm still in the process of opening that book, so I don't even know if I should open the book if they're gonna just change the story, which is very possible. So I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Do you guys think it's a big deal? Because I don't. It's probably Mephisto. You think that the calm character is Mephisto Ben for real? I think so too. It's definitely Mephisto. Confirmed. That's right, OG fan, when Star Wars was just Star Wars. It is definitely confirmed. You gonna cover War of Bounty Hunters or Star Wars comics in general? Proxy, that is a great question. I have heavily thought about it. I don't see a lot of creators covering that type of stuff, and I think it could be really cool. I'm just getting into comics myself, so if you have something to recommend or a series to recommend for me, I definitely think it could be fun to cover on some live streams and just talk about. Even if you want to talk about it with me on a live stream, I'd be down for that, Proxy. So maybe I should get some War of the Bounty Hunters comic books. I think it could be fun. Ashhammer says, I think they made it obvious that the Krayt Dragon ate the Sarlacc that Boba was in. I don't know about obvious, but it definitely was hinted at. And either way, Boba potentially had to get out of that somehow, right? So that's very interesting as well. Very interesting. So the other characters I think that it could potentially be that Rex was talking to, I think he also could be talking to Gregor or Wolf. We see them together in Rebels, and like I said in my last live stream, it's very possible Rex is going off to find them. He said that he met other clones that, at least he said that very few clones were, sorry, I'm blanking on this. He said very few clones were immune to the inhibitor chips. So from my perception, I think that it's very possible he's already met a couple of clones that were immune, and he helped them remove their chips as well. This could potentially be Gregor or Wolf, as we see them later on, also with their removed chips. So that would be the second and third character it could potentially be. And the last characters it could potentially be are the Martez sisters. We just saw them communicating with Rex in the end of the 6th episode, and we know that that was Rex because they told him that right before they talked to Rex, Omega tells the Martez sisters where to find them. She says that they will be on Ord Mantell. And where does Rex show up to find them? The bar on Ord Mantell. Sid's bar, to be exact. So we definitely know that Rex was the hologram character talking to the Martez sisters already, and it's highly possible he's talking to them again to go meet up with them. And later on in this